ADHD symptoms, brain fog, inability to focus, mood swings, you've been looking in the wrong place. It's not just in the brain, it's in the gut. So in this episode, I share the exact gut restoration approach that's helping families see their child truly thrive without more meds. Welcome to the Soaring Child podcast, where parents of children with ADHD learn tips and tricks to help their child soar at home, at school, and in life. We feature interviews with experts, medical professionals, and parents just like you who are learning how to reduce ADHD symptoms using food and other natural strategies. Because children with ADHD deserve to soar just like every other child. I'm Dana Kay, your host. Hello, parents, and welcome back to another edition of the Soaring Child podcast. I am Dana Kay, your host. Now, what if I told you that the key to reducing many ADHD symptoms actually resides not in the brain, but in the gut? I know this sounds counterintuitive because ADHD is a neurological disorder that affects both the brain and the nervous system. But stick with me because by the end of this episode, you'll understand why for many kids, the key to reducing ADHD symptoms is actually within the gut instead of the brain. Now, if you've been a long-time listener, you know that I've talked about the gut-brain connection before and how crucial gut health is when it comes to managing ADHD symptoms. But today's episode is different. This isn't just about understanding the connection. It's about taking targeted action with a proven supplement strategy designed to restore gut health and in turn dramatically improve your child's focus, mood, and behavior. So let's dive deeper into why the gut is ground zero for so many chronic conditions, including ADHD. Now, many people don't realize that just about all disease begins in the gut. Approximately 80% of the body's entire immune system is within the gut wall, along with billions of nerve cells and an extensive amount of beneficial gut bacteria. Now, this makes the gut the body's first line of defense against external stressors, pathogens, invaders, and it's keeping our immune system balanced and preventing chronic inflammation. Now, as of 2011, I love sharing this stat. According to Epidemic Answers, it was estimated that 54% of American children had been diagnosed with a chronic illness, and that figure was only 15% a couple of years before that. 1 in 2 had anxiety, asthma, type 1, type 2 diabetes, epilepsy, cystic fibrosis, heart problems, allergic conditions, learning disabilities, sinus infections, ear infections. It goes on and on. 1 in 5 had allergies, 1 in 6 had developmental delays, and 1 in 32 had autism. And that was back in 2011. I shudder to think what it is now. But I really look at why that rise occurred so rapidly. The answer is actually quite simple. It all begins in the gut. The gut is home to trillions of microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, fungi, and so much more. And they actually form this complex ecosystem, and it's known as the gut microbiome. And research shows that the gut microbiome is responsible for more than just digestion. It also plays a key role in mental health, immune regulation, and the production of vital neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. And so when the balance of these microorganisms is disrupted, it's actually known as a condition called gut dysbiosis. And gut dysbiosis has been linked to a wide range of chronic illnesses, from autoimmune disorders to neurodevelopmental conditions, like ADHD. And so rapidly declining gut health is one of the major contributors to the rise in all of these diseases and illnesses. And so this powerful connection between gut health and chronic illness isn't just about the body. It also has a profound impact on the brain, especially when it comes to conditions like ADHD. So how exactly are the gut and the brain linked? And this is where we enter the gut-brain connection. And the gut-brain connection, they're in constant communication. They're working together through a sophisticated network of nerves and chemicals and hormones. And this relationship means that when your gut isn't in good shape, it sort of sends these distress signals to the brain, and it can affect everything from mood to focus to mental clarity. So, in simple terms, if your gut isn't thriving, your brain won't thrive either. And the two-way conversation doesn't just impact digestion, it plays a crucial role in how we think, how we feel, how we focus every single day. So, you think of it this way, and I like to use this analogy. Some of you may have heard me say it before. But have you ever sort of felt butterflies in your stomach because you were nervous about something? I can tell you I had. Maybe it was a first date or a test or a conflict with someone. That's a perfect example of the gut brain connection. Our bodies are perceiving whatever we're nervous about as a stressful situation, and then our brain is triggering those raw emotions in the gut, resulting in those butterflies, the nauseousness feeling. And that's the brain talking to the gut. But the reverse is also true. Our guts talk to our brains as well. And when the digestive system, specifically the intestinal tract, has that imbalance of that gut bacteria, that dysbiosis, as we were talking about, that creates inflammation. It travels through that communication pipeline, that vagus nerve, directly to the brain. And once it reaches the brain, it creates those symptoms: brain fog, confusion, dizziness, poor memory, and a whole host of neurobehavioral disorders like ADHD, anxiety, depression. And it's kind of like this highway with both the gut and the brain constantly sending signals back and forth to one another. And I like to think of neurotransmitters as kind of like the cars on this superhighway. They are the body's chemical messengers. They carry the messages back and forth throughout the body. But did you know that 90 to 95% of the body's serotonin and about 50% of the body's dopamine is actually produced in the gut? And these neurotransmitters are the ones that help us manage emotions. They balance our mood. Now, in addition to serotonin and dopamine, the gut also plays a critical role in producing other key neurotransmitters. So, for example, research has shown that 97 organisms in the gut microbiome can produce GABA. GABA is another neurotransmitter that plays a key role in regulating mood, cognition, and our sleep wake cycles. And when you've got imbalances in GABA levels, it's been linked to anxiety, depression, and emotional instability, all of which can exacerbate ADHD symptoms. So if the gut is not producing enough of the bacteria that's producing that GABA, children may struggle with heightened anxiety, difficulty calming down, which can impact their focus and their emotional control. Now, norepinephrine, that's another neurotransmitter, another important one. It's critical for attention and cognitive alertness. Certain gut bacteria are known to produce norepinephrine, which means the state of the gut health can directly influence how sharp and focused children with ADHD feel. So disruptions in norepinephrine production caused by gut imbalances can make it much harder for children to stay focused and manage stress, further contributing to symptoms of inability to focus, hyperactivity, impulsivity, all of that. Now, acetylcholine is well known for its role in learning, memory, and attention, areas where children with ADHD often face challenges. While it's not as widely studied in relation to the gut as serotonin and dopamine, there is evidence that suggests that gut bacteria can also influence acetylcholine production. So a healthy gut may help regulate acetylcholine levels, supporting better cognitive function, focus, and mental clarity. I mean, guys, you can see how important gut health is to helping our kids with ADHD thrive. Another thing, histamine. Okay, Although it's commonly associated with allergies, allergic reactions, it also acts as a neurotransmitter that will affect wakefulness or alertness or cognitive processes. And some gut bacteria can actually produce histamine. And when there is an imbalance in gut bacteria, this can actually lead to an excessive production of histamine. And this overload may result in symptoms like brain fog, irritability, and disturbed sleep, all of which can make managing ADHD symptoms even more difficult. So many children with ADHD struggle to manage emotions and can often have huge mood swings. I remember back in the day when my son was really struggling, he suffered with those emotional mood swings quite dramatically. So for children, it's likely that their bodies, and in particular their guts, are not making enough of these vital neurotransmitters or producing too much of histamine. Now, emotional dysregulation is a common symptom of ADHD, but many parents don't realize that emotional dysregulation often starts in the gut, where that serotonin, where that dopamine, the GABA, they're all made. Now, the problem then isn't just the emotions themselves, but the fact that the correct amount of these vital neurotransmitters are not produced or being produced in the first place. So, by working to improve gut health, many parents of children with ADHD find that these emotional and cognitive challenges begin to reduce, they begin to resolve naturally. Now, I want to take a sidestep. I want to talk about something called leaky gut, because I see this over and over again in lab tests of kids we work with. Now, leaky gut occurs when the lining of the intestinal wall becomes weakened or leaky. It allows harmful substances like undigested food particles, toxins, bad bacteria to pass into the bloodstream. And this breach of the gut's natural barrier actually triggers inflammation, immune responses. It leads to too much inflammation, and it can spread throughout the body, including to the brain. I'm not going to go too deep into leaky gut in this episode because I've actually done an entire podcast episode on leaky gut before. So instead, I'm going to add the link to the show notes if you want to check that out. But for our purposes today, just know that leaky gut basically means the gut lining is broken down. And because of that, the connection between the gut and brain is compromised. Now, you might be wondering, what actually causes it to occur in the first place? There are actually a variety of things that could cause the gut-brain connection to break down. Some of the most common causes that I see in children I work with are things like frequent antibiotic use. I mean, I can't even count the amount of times that my son, when he was much, much younger, used antibiotics. I have countless families that come to me for guidance with their children's ADHD symptoms. And when I actually ask if their child has been on lots of antibiotics when they were younger, a massive percentage of those children had. Now, most antibiotics actually work by killing bacteria or preventing it from growing. But unfortunately, most antibiotics can't distinguish between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. And that means they can wreak havoc on the gut's healthy bacteria. And many people actually suffer lasting changes to the gut flora as a result of taking antibiotics. Now, other things that can break down the lining of the gut, parasites, toxin exposure, other medication, food sensitivity, gluten, all of these things can damage the gut. And as I've been saying today, a person's gut health is quite literally connected to everything that occurs in the body. So this means that if we're able to improve gut function, then we're able to target not just symptoms, but underlying stressors as well. The gut-brain connection are constantly sending messages back and forth. As I mentioned earlier, it's this super highway. When medication is actually prescribed for ADHD, it's often to treat the symptoms in the brain alone. But that medication does absolutely nothing about whatever might be going on in the gut. Think about SSRIs. These are medications prescribed for anxiety. These medications are often prescribed for that anxiety or even depression. And serotonin is one of the neurotransmitters that enables brain cells to communicate with one another. And it helps with that mood stabilization. It makes people feel happy. So SSRIs make more of the serotonin that you have in your body accessible in the brain by blocking its reabsorption. So, in essence, what SSRIs do is help someone's body better manage the serotonin that it currently has. The medication doesn't actually create more serotonin in the body. So, what I'm advocating is that there is a better approach. Instead of treating the symptom, for example, the fact that serotonin isn't being managed correctly, figure out why the body isn't producing enough serotonin in the first place. And I use serotonin and the SSRIs as an example because I was actually on SSRIs for a very, very long time in my 20s. And when I work to fix my gut, I was able to get off those SSRIs. Now, I think that let's fix the issue so the body begins to produce the right amount of serotonin on its own. I talk about this a lot as well. It's like a fire. When a house fire breaks out and the emergency responders arrive on scene, they don't aim their hoses at the smoke. They aim them at the fire. They know that if they get the fire out, the smoke will eventually dissipate. And it's the same way with our kids, with ourselves, our health. If we aim for the fire, so in our case, the underlying stressor in the body, the smoke or the symptoms of ADHD or anxiety or depression will eventually dissipate. But if all we do is flood the smoke with water, we're never actually even touching the problem below. And so I always advocate, let's stop shooting water at smoke and start getting to the underlying issues. Focus on the underlying stresses, not just the symptoms on the surface. So I'm totally going on a rant here on this podcast, but I am so, so passionate about this topic. To focus on the brain and not the gut, in my opinion, is counterproductive. Doesn't make sense because the brain and the gut are connected to one another. They're constantly communicating. After all of that, after my rant, I'm going to give you some practical tips to begin supporting the gut-brain connection. Now, what can you do if you suspect leaky gut or a weakened gut-brain connection that could be exacerbating your child's ADHD symptoms? Are there any strategies that we can use at home to improve that gut-brain connection and support leaky gut? Absolutely. I actually have a free leaky gut guide that provides you with steps to support leaky gut, as well as 25 gut healing recipes. You can grab your leaky gut guide in the show notes. But here are some additional ways to support the gut-brain connection that I want to share with you today. Number one, I talk about it a lot, cut out highly inflammatory foods. They are one of the biggest offenders for breaking down the gut. Things like gluten, dairy, soy, artificial flavors, colors, or excessive amounts of sugar, and any foods that pop up on a food sensitivity test. As I mentioned, I've spoken about this quite a bit. I've also written about it quite a bit, so you can check out some of the links that I'll add to the show notes for the resources on this topic. Another thing, you want to eat more nutrient-dense foods like whole fruits and veggies, grass-fed protein sources, wild-caught protein sources, healthy fats. These foods will help rebuild gut health and strengthen that gut-brain connection. Use targeted supplementation to support gut healing. Many people use a pin the tail on the donkey method when supplementing. I did too, don't worry. They learn about a supplement that has helped others and hope it will help their child as well. They give it a try without testing first. And though this does occasionally help, ideally we want to supplement based on the results of functional lab testing, as this is a much more targeted approach. Another strategy could be eat prebiotic and probiotic foods or take supplements that are designed to support gut health. Now, my favorite gut restoration supplements are included in our gut restoration bundle, which includes 3 supplements: pro-essentials, pre-essentials, and mucosa essentials. I'll explain them in a moment, but first I just want to explain the difference between prebiotics and probiotics because it's something that I get asked a lot. The truth is, just about everyone can benefit from probiotics and prebiotics. Both support gut health, but they actually serve different roles. So, probiotics are live beneficial bacteria that naturally occur in your gut, and they help maintain a healthy balance of gut bacteria. They support digestion, they boost the immune system, and they reduce inflammation. Probiotics can be found in fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and certain supplements. Prebiotics, on the other hand, are non-digestible fibers that acts as the food for the probiotics. So they actually stimulate the growth and activity of the beneficial bacteria in the gut. Prebiotics are found in food like onions, garlic, bananas, and whole grains. So in short, probiotics are the good bacteria and the prebiotics are the food that help those bacteria thrive. When taken or eaten together, they can enhance gut health even further. So I mentioned our total gut restoration bundle, and this supplement bundle includes 3 specific supplements that are designed to help repair and rebalance gut health. These supplements help maintain that balanced microbiome. They help strengthen that gut lining and introduce beneficial bacteria that promote immune, digestive, and brain health. Now, a well-supported gut plays a key role in wellness, especially when it comes to immune function and the gut-brain connection. The cornerstone product in this bundle is called Pro Essentials, and it's honestly one I am so grateful, and so many other families are grateful exists. It supports both gut and brain health using a specific trio of spore-based probiotics. They're not your average probiotics. They're tough enough to survive stomach acid and actually reach the intestines where they do their job. Now, these particular strains help that gut bacteria, the good bacteria. They help reduce inflammation. They improve microbial diversity, which is huge for kids with ADHD. Research even shows they help lower markers like IL-6 and TNF-alpha, which are tied to immune stress and behavioral issues. So it's not just about digestion, it's supporting mood and focus from the gut up. And what really makes Pro Essentials unique is what we've added to those probiotics. It includes Zembrin, which is a powerful plant extract shown to support flexible thinking, emotional regulation, and executive function. Basically, the ability to focus, plan, and manage emotions. It also contains a clinically tested saffron extract, which supports calm, balanced neurotransmitter activity, and has even shown results similar to ADHD medication in a head-to-head study with children. This combination of gut support and brain support is what makes Pro Essentials so effective. You know, it's not about masking symptoms, it's about supporting the systems that help our kids function, feel better naturally. This bundle also includes Pre-Essentials, and Pre-Essentials is a prebiotic that promotes a strong and diverse microbiome. It's a great supplement, and it's made up of clinically tested non-digestible oligosaccharides that can actually increase microbial diversity and selectively feed beneficial bacteria. It also reinforces the beneficial microbial changes that were created by Pro Essentials to really promote that strong and diverse microbiome. And finally, Mucosa Essentials, which is a complete mucosal, which is that gut bacteria lining support supplement. It's formulated to really support that healthy mucosal barrier. It contains dairy-free immunoglobulins, which are clinically shown to support a healthy immune system in the mucosa, and also a state-of-the-art flavobiotic, which is shown to support microbial diversity and strong chain fatty acid production. The mucosal system is so important, and it's a huge component of the human immune system. It contains sort of 150 times more surface area than skin. Can you believe it? It makes it essential when supporting immune system and supporting that important gut-brain connection. So if I had to choose which supplements were my favorite for supporting the gut health, I would definitely recommend the Gut Restoration Bundle. I will add the links to the show notes. Now, the other one I love to add to the Gut Restoration Bundle is called Nutri-Essentials. It is a digestive enzyme blend that can help the body digest protein, fat, carbohydrates. It can support nutrient absorption in the body. And if digestion is compromised, the body actually cannot fully benefit from the nutrients that we're giving it in food. And unfortunately, many children who have ADHD have compromised digestion. Because of this, I love Nutri-Essentials. It supports that optimum digestion. And many individuals use this product before meals, about 20 minutes before meals, and find that it can really be helpful to help gas, bloating, and constipation, as well as support digestion. It also, which I love, breaks down the peptides glutamorphin and casomorphin that come from gluten and dairy. So I suggest all families avoid gluten and dairy, as I mentioned, but this product can support the body in case of accidental exposure or in case of sneaky children getting into gluten and dairy when they're not supposed to. Now, we've covered a lot in this podcast episode. I hope it didn't get too technical with you, but I just want to summarize what we've talked about today. We've covered a few things that you guys can do to support your child's gut health. So let's review. We've got cut out highly inflammatory foods. Eat more nutrient-dense foods that also contain pro and prebiotics. You can use targeted supplementation after lab testing, or you can use specialized probiotics and prebiotics, or the Gut Restoration Bundle with the addition of Nutri-Essentials. Another thing that you guys can do, number 5, drink plenty of spring water. This will definitely aid your body in detoxification and help flush out any toxins, as well as hydrate all the body systems. And the final tip, number 6, prioritize sleep. So by prioritizing sleep, we're also prioritizing gut health. These 6 steps can make a powerful difference in supporting your child's gut health. But I also know and understand how overwhelming it can feel trying to figure all of this out on your own. Every child is unique, and sometimes it takes a deeper look to really understand what's going on inside their body. And that's why functional testing can also be super helpful. It really gives us this real insight into what your child's gut needs. And from there, we can create a plan that's tailored specifically to them. Now, for some families, that clarity can be the turning point after years of trial and error. So if you've ever felt like you're just guessing or spinning your wheels, know that support is out there. And if it feels right, we'd love to help you get started. You can actually schedule a free call with my team at the link in the show notes. At the end of the day, healing the gut isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Every small step you take towards supporting your child's health really matters. Whether it's adjusting their diet, adding the right supplements, or just simply learning more about what's going on beneath the surface, you're already making a difference. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. Listeners, thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Soaring Child podcast. I'm Dana Kay, your ADHD health practitioner. Keep on thriving. Thank you for listening to the Soaring Child podcast today. To learn more about how to help your child with ADHD soar using natural strategies, visit our website at adhdthriveinstitute.com and follow us on social media at ADHD Thrive Institute.